Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. I note that beside this channel, I also write the Ask Dave column for QST. You can send questions to me. The best way is to send them through the ARRL link. If you send a question to Ask Dave at arrl.org, Ask Dave at arrl.org. That instantly transfers to my inbox. One of the nice things about sending an email is you can attach pictures, drawings, stuff like that that can show the situation that you're up against. I am running behind on getting to all the questions. I am trying. Okay, now let's take a look at this question from KK6JNI. Okay, KK6JNI. And let's look that up and see who that is. We're going to go over here to QRZ.com, QRZ.com, and see who, first of all, I'm logged in, yes. This is not quite free. Cases 6 JNI, it used to be free, but a service that they offer now is that your logbook can connect directly to this, so it can pick up names and things like that. But KK6JNI is Rob Johnson in El Sobrante, California. I have no idea where that is. 94801. Now that means Northern California. So the northern half of California. And it looks like from the pictures that he has here, that is somewhere in the Bay Area. He notes that his abiding interests include cosmology, astrophysics, Linux programming, extraterrestrials. By the way, Linux was written by extraterrestrials, so it's strange. Electronics, amateur radio, quantum physics, and the paranormal. Okay, I've always wondered why normal comes in pairs. Paranormal. But anyway, it's fun stuff to look at. Okay, this is what he's got here and what he wants me to take a look at and see if he's wired it right. So he has an ICOM 705 right here, and he takes his audio out to an equalizer out here so he can play a little bit with the sound. I'll bet that sounds pretty cool. It's got an antenna, and it splits into HF and VHF UHF. The HF he runs through this 100-watt amplifier. Okay, now this is a fairly modern product. He's got a keyer relay buffer between the two if this thing has high keying transients. This is fairly new. I'm surprised that you need the buffer. Now note that between your amplifier there should also be an ALC. Okay, and he's got the audio coming out right here. So that goes through there. Now the ALC is fed back to here. So you'll have to look at the specifications. These radios can handle 0 to -4 volts. And the purpose of it is to tone this down so it doesn't overdrive the amplifier. Otherwise, you've got to keep track of how much energy you can put out before you overdrive this thing. Now he has here a tuner. Okay, this is a tuner for HF. And it comes right out of here into the tuner. Okay, and now he's got a little, this looks like the MFJ style HF, VHF, UHF watt meter. Okay, and he's very carefully keeping his HF separated from the VHF, so we can read both at the same time. And then this comes out to a 1-to-1 common mode noise choke, which actually should be mounted up by the antenna. Okay, so run regular cable up to real close to the antenna and then put that balun in there. Now the same with this. When you switch antennas, you've got a 3-way antenna switch. You'll note that this, if you put this in here, you put this in the shack, which creates the problem that you may be getting some RF feedback on the outside. I know this sounds a little expensive, but I'd move the 1-to-1 balun, make 3 of them, put them right at the antennas, okay? And that way you can keep the common mode noise off of that and not bring it into the shack on these lines which attach to your 3-way antenna switch. Otherwise, that's all I would change. Go looking for the ALC and see if that's there. Otherwise, go through the process of determining how much power you can put out on this. Don't use a power meter to decide. Use another radio that somebody has. And as you gradually turn up the power, this will reach max. Now, the problem with just using a watt meter like this is if you continue to increase the gain here, this will increase the gain over here, but what this gain is not gain on the frequency you want. It's spurious emissions. You'll splatter, okay? You won't see that with the watt meter. You will see that if somebody parks their receiver nearby. And what you want to do is turn this thing just up enough so that you're up against that top, okay? And then keep that. Now on my ICOM 7300 right here, when I am transmitting to the amplifier, what I have to do is turn down the RF power here. Let's pick the RF power and turn this down to 62%. That was the number I came up with because my amplifier also has no ALC. Okay, so if I go beyond this, it looks like there's more power, but it's not. It's creating splatter. And so you don't want to do that because that makes other hams unhappy when you splatter all over their communications. So you can look into not having to use this. If this will create a nice ALC voltage for you, look at the manual for this. Otherwise, I would move this choke right to the antenna, okay, and then bring in already choked stuff in here so you don't get common mode noise coming down into the shack. Okay? So Rob, there you go. I hope that answers your question. We took a look at in detail. I thought it was really cool how not only did you look up the pictures for all of these things or make them, but you also put in the URL for where it can be found. That's really nice. So this makes for a very nice thing to take a look at, very complete. So there you have it. You want to hook things up in such a way as to keep common mode voltages out of the shack. That's the voltage that flows down the outside of the coax. Okay. Also, and that's true both for VHF and HF. So that 1-to-1 common mode choke is a good idea wherever you put that. Now, one thing I would note, just to emphasize the importance of not overdriving your amplifier. If you overdrive it, it creates splatter, which is noise that carries no intelligence, and it goes up and down the band. The way you detect that is with another radio that has a nice spectrum scope on it, so they can look at it and say, okay, stop there. Because if you go up anymore, you won't be putting out more power where you want it. You'll be putting out splatter. The American Radio Relay League has initiated what it calls a clean signal initiative. And part of this is learning how to set up your entire chain so that you're not overdriving, creating splatter, creating nonlinear signals, and so on the air. So there you have it. If you would like to help support this channel, go to Patreon at patreon.com/KE0OG, or you can become a channel member. We're going to start putting out our videos so that the channel members and the patrons can see them first by about a couple weeks. And that switch will be taking place this fall. So until we next meet, 73.